podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome to St Mary's Stadium. Happy New Year to you. My name is Nick Hart. You're listening, of course, to Achtung Millwall, number one Millwall podcast. Here we are, New Year's Day. Things we do for football listeners, like all of us. I could have done without football today. There's been so much of late since that Blackburn away games. I didn't go to watch on telly, but obviously since then it's been a relentless grind of football. It must be so for the squad. The starting 11 this afternoon is really starting to show its sellotape and sticky plaster qualities. Crocom's in goal. We've got the normal back line of Kramer, Cooper, Taylor and Sturge in midfield. Today starting will be Ryan Leonard with Arrivederci alongside him in front of them. Femi Aziz comes back into the team after his suspension. Camille Negley, who played so well the other day, it was just 2 nights ago, versus Bristol City. Turno Ballo starts this afternoon on the left side, I imagine. And up front today, Macaulay Langstaff, dear listeners. There's a storyline for you. Macaulay Langstaff, no Ivanovic in the squad. I'm guessing he's being rested. Who knows? It's a nice stadium, St Mary's. I came to the old Dell donkeys years ago. That was a really odd place. If there's anyone old enough to remember the Dell, there were 2,000 of us here this afternoon. This is one of the wave of new stadia. I think it was built for one of the Euros, wasn't it? They played internationals here, I think, when England weren't playing at Wembley. It's a nice ground on the corner side, just on the sides. I've got like a side view of the ground. But yeah, the Dell had a kind of like a staggered terrace at one end, very, very odd place, small and compact. This is not far from the centre of Southampton. Walk down from the station. A mile and a bit, I think, according to Google. I think the Dell was around about the same distance, but in a different direction. But there we go. Dell long gone. I imagine that's a housing estate or a shopping mall or something unromantic at that point. Yeah, what a performance the other night versus Bristol City. How much that's taken out of the players, who knows? In the post-match, Alex Neil said that we're running on empty at the moment. I could imagine we must be. Committing, massive commitment. Each of the games we've been playing, Ipswich and then Bristol. Now this is not going to be easy here at Southampton. Is this a free hit? I don't believe in such expressions, listeners. Some have been saying this is one we can afford to lose. I don't think we can afford to lose it, unfortunately. We're going to have to do our best with a wink and a prayer. Here come the two teams, dear listeners. Lions this afternoon will be in our famous blue and white, dark blue and white. Southampton, I think they're red and white stripes or some variation thereof. Cold afternoon, brisk New Year's Day. All is quiet on New Year's Day. You too, saying that was a long while ago. We're going for Arsenal-style flag wavers down in front of us. We're on the side of the corner section with a slight curve round to give a side view. And below us we've got the Southampton flag wavers. It's all safe standing here, interestingly, in the away section. I think there's the home end is safe standing here. I quite like safe standing. It does make the terrace rather narrow. I nearly fell over a couple of times walking around to my little spot here. Oh, we've got a brass band, the Hampshire brass band. It's drawn some reaction from the travelling support. Sour. It's a proper brass band playing this, listeners. It gets the crowd going, that's for sure. Salvation Army style. The local South East London variation on the old spiritual. Change of ends. I don't think the Archbishop of Edinburgh would be had any opinion on Southampton listeners. It doesn't exist in my time. I should express no opinion upon where they kick in the first half. That's verbatim in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle. No opinion, said the Beattie. I care if not. There we go. Last time I was here, it was in Steve Claridge's era, and he scored a goal. I think we won it 3-1, older listeners. This is going back to the early 2000s. I don't know why, I haven't been back here since for various reasons. It just hasn't worked out. As I say, it's a nice stadium. I thought you said his father was a wanker. What the fuck are we talking about? Using Langstaff as a target man, but along the ground, which is good tactics if you're going to use him for that in that role rather than the long high ball. Southampton possession is the story of the first 15 minutes, listeners. Thankfully they're put into touch. So they've had one moment where the ball was headed into the middle. It was a little bit of a panicky clearance, but we did get it away with it. But at the 15-minute mark, the percentages are in favour of Southampton without anything to show for it. This is Leonard, right side, and Aziz on the right side of the Southampton penalty area. Not the wrong way. It's in the air as Macaulay Langstaff gets pushed. But they will clear it. To a Millwall shirt. Doughty finds Leonard. He finds Femi Aziz on the right side of the penalty area. There's a shot on target from Ballo, side foot shot goalkeeper takes. First real chance of the game, on target from Millwall, 16 minutes. Nice move. Nicely worked move. Shot probably didn't just have enough pizzazz on it. It was on target. This is Southampton now breaking on the right side. A great leg left out by Tristan Palmer. I know he has a few admirers of his legs around the female members, maybe even some of the male members, I don't. I'm like, what do I care? It's 2026 now. Hey, it's a liberal open show. But this is Southampton all the way back to 5 with a shot on target. Stacey cutting, no power, straight up. Max Krogan, thankfully, because that was has given time and space to have a go there. 17.5 minutes. Possession football by Southampton coming down on the train. I was thinking to myself, would a point be a good result here today? It probably will be, listeners, but you've got to be looking for more than that because these are the ambitions that we are setting ourselves now. And I get a sense that Alex Neil and the squad share that ambition that I want to win every game, which I love. There's the Alex Neil song to reinforce my point. 20 minutes, listeners. It's a good start by Millwall. We're absorbing pressure and we are looking dangerous on the break. In fact, here we go again. Good tackle there. Ball's won. This is Aziz. Ball in for Langstaff just in front of him. Sturgeon into the left-sided corner. Pressure from Millwall. Good stuff from the Lions, listeners. Looking towards 21 minutes. Is nurtured. What has been told. 25 minutes in comes the left side corner. Oh, did that hit the crossbar? Came in at pace there. It looked like there's a return cross over the bar. I thought, yeah, no, it hit the crossbar, listeners. We'll see a replay of that. Was it battered away by Crocombe? I don't know. Too fast, too far. Let's have a look. I can't tell, it looks like it might have come off the woodwork. It's not woodwork anymore, it's probably propylene or something like that. Doughty to take this left-sided corner in, listeners. It's deep. Bit aimless, listeners, to be honest. It's come back to Sturge. Negley now, 33 minutes. This is Ryan Leonard on the right, floats it into the middle. Joe Cooper went over like one of old Fred Dibner's chimneys, listeners. One for the older clientele. But they're looking for a penalty. Wasn't going to get it in a month of Sundays. It was half time. Pretty good half from the Millwall perspective, given the limitations of the 11 available to us. We've competed hard. We haven't, can't think of any direct chances that spring to my mind at half time. But overall, that's a pretty solid 45 minutes. So at the break, it's Southampton 0, Millwall 0. A few comments on the WhatsApp group about Ballo should have done better with his chance. I'd have to see it again, listeners. Can't really comment, but overall, I thought we've contained Southampton pretty well. But there's a long second half ahead of us. So Kramer's come down hard out there, listeners, and went up for a ball. Landed hard, was don't look happy. 2 minutes into the second half, 47 minutes. We're sitting up, hence the applause. Southampton on the right as they attack. He goes past, the 27 goes past Negy like he's not there. That's into the near post. Broken down, and I think he's looking hard at Camille Negy there. A somewhat biting look. Aziz receiving an extended bit of treatment out of the listeners. 54 minutes now. He's been down for a couple of minutes in the Southampton penalty area. He's up. Just took a bang somewhere along the line there. In it comes at last. Deep one towards Cooper. Bounces away. Shot from Ballo high, wide. Not very handsome. 55 minutes. Trying to get a bit of electricity into their side. They will respond. Breaks loose. This is Macaulay Langstaff inside the penalty. This is Ballo. Oh! Shot across the goal there. Maybe should have done better with that one as well, listeners. I thought Langstaff might have a go there, but it was Ballo. Shot across the 6-yard box. 56 minutes. Fantastic support from the travelling Lions, listeners. Since the game is in the balance at the moment, Mill have been pressing. Flick header on there, that's Langstaff, I thought got clattered there, but the referee's let it go. It's going to be a throw in on the right. 57 minutes. There will be some injury time with that attention to Femi Aziz early on. Took until 60 minutes. Game still very evenly matched, I would say, listeners. Neither side really looking decisive so far. For me, that's a tribute to the resilience of this Millwall squad, but we've still got half an hour to go. Down the right side, Femi Aziz, 64 minutes, listeners. Femi taking his man on over there. Put into touch, right side throwing from Millwall. Nice little run there from Femi Aziz. Deep headed on, bouncing around, shot. Oh, shot from Negley, was going wide. I thought it might have got a deflection there. It's gone for a throw-in. A little moment of panic there in the Southampton defence. 65 minutes. And towards the halfway point of the second half, 66 minutes, listeners. It is very much in the balance. Both sides will want to win this. Lions playing with a 5-man back line at the moment, listeners, looking to soak up this Southampton pressure. We're just starting to look a little bit tired, as you might expect after so much football, listeners. And we are under the cosh here a little bit. Again, clearances into red and white shirts, unfortunately. We're not keeping possession of the ball. It just invites them on. This is Kramer now on the right side. 76 minutes, listeners. Ball into the middle. Cleared by the Saints defence. Great tackle, Jake Cooper charging across like an express train, listeners. The Flying Scotsman. That's enlivened the crowd. Right there by Langstaff dispossesses his man on the left side. He's got Aziz inside him on the left of the penalty. Ball into the middle. Oh, great save by the goalkeeper in front of Ballo. Wow, that was a chance. 77 minutes of beautiful ball in from the left side from Aziz. Ballo caught it well, but the goalkeeper performed a small miracle there, listeners, for Southampton. Kept out a certain goal there. Right side corner. Let's have a look on the big screen. Ball comes in from, he caught it well, to be honest. The goalkeeper's done very, very well there for him. Southampton on the edge of the D. Shot blocked. Over on the right now, the 18. Oh, deflected shot. I thought for a moment it was going to creep in. Gone for a right left side corner. 85 minutes. There's a gentleman to our left who I should be getting offended, really, shouldn't I? This is Specky he's being called. I should be getting offended. This is Taylor. Shoot, they say. No clear shot. Like they're saying, the assassin movies. That's a deep looping ball. McCauley Langstaff onto the roof. A lovely little back flick there from Idemo. Marku Langstaff caught it on the volley and it seemed to curve. I thought it was going to go onto the roof of the net. 90 minutes. 7 minutes. I thought we had that goal then, didn't you? Southampton press forwards, last chance here. This is the 9 at the box. Oh, I thought that was a moment. Bloody hell. Ball nearly works its way through the strike. It's taken deflection from the right-sided corner, dear listeners. Bloody hell. Hands on heads by a 10. I think he saw that was a chance, and it was a decent chance, but we've still got defenders corner. Got 1 minute of the added time to go. In it comes. It's deep. Headed up and away. Should be back into possession, unfortunately. It's ball in from the 3. Oh! Flashes across goal. Now again from the 5. I think that was. Bloody hell. It's not good for my nerves, I can tell you that much, listeners. We're coming to the last 30 seconds of the game. There it is, it finishes 0-0, probably a fair result. 2 magnificent chances for the Lions with Ballo and then Langstaff late in the game. There was a moment in the first half where maybe Ballo might have done a bit better, but overall we ran it closely in 2 moments at the end and I thought we could easily lose it. It finishes 0-0 here at St Mary's. That's a great point from a depleted squad, listeners. Keep that in the back of your mind as you assess this result. So we'll be back after these messages.
Hello?
Hi Nick, hi listeners. John Rankin just calling in with some observations on that 0-0 draw at St Mary's against Southampton, and I thought, we were really good value for that point. We travelled down and took our seats just before kick-off. It was a really good atmosphere, I thought, on behalf of the Millwall away supporters. I thought Southampton were pretty quiet in terms of their supporters, and I don't know, I was anticipating us getting beat actually on the drive down. The 4 of us that travelled, the consensus of opinion kind of thought it was going to be a bridge too far, just a step too far for us after the exertions of Bristol, etc., and Ipswich, which I thought were 2 really good matches. And Southampton looked really strong, they moved the ball around at the back, they waited for us to press and then moved the ball quickly through midfield, which is the way kind of Ipswich played. But we did really, really well. We held our shape and Alex Neil set us up in a back 4. It looked like a sort of 4-2-3-1 really. I thought Macaulay Langstaff was excellent, ran himself into the ground. I thought Camille Negley was really, really good. He covered so much territory and he made some brilliant challenges. There was one sliding tackle from behind that he made as one of the Southampton players went through, and it was so good, well executed. And there's less and less mistakes now creeping into Negley's game, and I've always been very positive on him from the first moment I saw him. Actually, I thought he was going to be good for us, and I think he's going to be an integral part of the team. Reece Bangura-Williams came on late in the game, and I hope that he revisits some of the form that he showed last season, because again, he's going to be another key player. Femi Aziz was his usual dangerous self, but I've got to shout out for what was my Millwall man of the match, which was Tristan Kramer, actually. He's going from strength to strength. He's looking so good, and some of the challenges he put in as right back were really, really good. He was tackling from behind, but not going through the player. He was making contact with the ball and winning some really, really good one-on-one battles. And the presence that he's got coming forward is amazing. We call him Le Cheval, because he's like a big French horse, like a stallion cantering through. And he seems to be unstoppable. When he's got the ball at his feet, he makes those surging runs. And he truly is a sight to behold. And we just think he's marvellous. He's just what Millwall need. He's becoming a real kind of talisman for us at times. I thought Caleb Taylor and Jake Cooper played well. Zach Sturge put in a good performance. Everyone, I thought, played really well. Our midfield did well. Thierry Ballo and Camille Negley. Ryan Leonard played on the right of midfield, and he did a really good job linking up and putting some challenges in. And it was a very competent display. Max Crocombe did well. So, all in all, I thought we were really good value for the point on the road. We created some chances, and late on, Ballo had that chance, which produced a wonder save by the goalkeeper. And all in all, I think we were at least worthy of the point, if not all three. I think we nullified Southampton. They've got a very expensive squad with some very good players. And, they were bound to have chances. Late on, they could have scored, but they didn't. And it was a great way for us to start the 2026. So, come on, you Lions.
Big thank you, John, for that. That late Ballo chance. I've seen photos online, listeners, that show that the ball actually hit the Southampton goalkeeper in the cheek, hit him in the face. I mean, all he can do is get behind it, block it in some way, and it was a magnificent save, in all fairness, to the Southampton goalie. Nice move, balled in from the left side, I think, if memory serves, from Aziz, and caught well by Turner Ballo. He couldn't have done much more than put it on target. He did that. And the goalkeeper, combination of skill, stroke, luck, I don't know. He's got his body in the way of the ball and prevented a goal. And that's what he gets paid to do. It was a great performance yesterday, John. I thought we were, heroic in defence. We were soaking up pressure. There was the bit of the Bristol style of clearance into nowhere towards the end of the game. But I put that down to sheer bloody fatigue. I mean, how much football have we played over Christmas and now New Year? Like I said in the live piece that I did, I'm sure a lot of us could have done with a bit of a break, not least the squad. I could have done after New Year's Eve and then getting up early to go down to Southampton. So God knows what the players are like. But it was magnificent defence. You've name-checked Tristan Kramer. I won't argue with anyone that says Tristan Kramer, Talisman Kramer, Le Chevalier. I'm gonna nick that one from John. Because I think he's an absolute rock in defence. But everyone was Jake, Sturge, everyone. The whole across the back. Taylor has been mentioned a few times. How far he's coming along and he's improving. So no, magnificent defensive performance all round. I want to name check Macaulay Langstaff too, because I thought he did really well in the week against Bristol. And his industry and running yesterday, listeners, for anyone that wasn't there, was key, really, because, as much as I love Ivanovic, he's a different type of player. He's taller and has been used as the tall target man. We did use Macaulay as a target man, but it was kept low, which was good stuff. That's, he's a smaller guy. But the industry and the harrying and chasing back from Macaulay yesterday was really good. I'm really hoping that we can see a role for him at the club to finish out the season. Who knows where it's going to finish this year for us, but I think Macaulay's doing enough to justify his spot. It's been a difficult move for him up from the lower leagues from Notts County, where he's such a success, goal scoring, liberally in the National League and I think League Two as well. So to come to the Championship, where standards are very, very much higher, and to go through the pain of not making your mark, not scoring the goals, but carry on, keep on keeping on. I take my hat off to Macaulay Langstaff. Great to see Femi Aziz back yesterday as well. I think we'll see him improve. Over the games ahead. He's a crucial part. It was his cross to Ballo that almost won the game for us yesterday. And just like you, John, I think I probably would have taken a point. I was sitting on the train thinking to myself, what can we expect today? I thought if we get away with a point from Southampton, we'd have done really very, very well. So yeah, big shout out to the travelling 2,200 as well for you would have heard the atmosphere on my little live recording that I did there. Got a few funny looks from the stewards as well yesterday. I think they thought I was in some kind of a Far Eastern betting ring, which makes a change from being the old Bill, dear listeners. Have a listen now to Lawrence Binney.
Right, Nick, it's Lawrence Binney here calling in after Southampton 0, Millwall 0. I think the players can be very proud of that performance. I think Alex Neil should take a large portion of credit as well. The way we set up today, I think, was excellent from kind of goalkeeper to centre forward. Everyone worked so hard off the ball. The pressing was brilliant. The game management was excellent. I think the subs were made at exactly the right time. Really good decision in the end to rest Billy Mitchell. I was a bit unsure of that at the start, looking at the quality that Southampton had in that midfield, but we just never really allowed them to settle. And it's a little unfortunate that we didn't put one of those chances away, especially the Ballo one, which I think he does everything right. The keeper just comes out with a really, really top draw save. But in the end, we could easily lose it, couldn't we? In the final minute, two very, very decent opportunities to snatch a last gasp and very much undeserved winner. So yeah, I came into it not expecting much. Come away from the performance feeling very encouraged by the level and the energy levels as well, especially because we've looked very leggy over December, but I think a few players are really starting to kind of come back into fitness now, and the rotations have helped. I think give some players a rest, and hopefully Ivanovic's knock is not too severe, and so he can come back on Sunday. But if not, then Langstaff, while he doesn't have the same presence, he nearly made himself the hero again with that fantastic acrobatic effort near the end. For me, man of the match, Caleb Taylor. I think he's been quietly really excellent in the past few games and is starting to look like a mainstay of that central defence. He's just so composed on the ball now, and I think that was what worried me about him initially, is that he looked a little bit jittery. But yeah, he looks really commanding. He looks like he could develop into a very, very top centre half for us. Tristan Kramer is, running out of superlatives. I'm sure they might have some in French. At least a third of our language is, of course, stolen from the French. So maybe he can summon up a few more adjectives to kind of describe how good a fucking footballer he is. Maybe shades of Lucas Neal in the way that he can seemingly play anywhere, and at such a high standard. He's just like, he makes, I think the sign of a Premier League player is, occasionally someone will have an outstanding game. We'll talk about Leonard having an outstanding game. Kramer does it every week. Like 8-9 times out of 10, he will perform at an incredible standard. And that's, I think, the difference between your good Championship players and your Premier League players. He won't be with us this time next January. I don't think, if we're not in the Premier League. But hopefully that means that we can sell him for quite a bit of money. On to Swansea, which I think now we need to be looking at picking up 3 points. And then we have a bit of a free hit with the Burnley game, which I don't think this season at least, many people care about. I know people get a little bit sensitive about the FA Cup, I think for good reason, because it's been devalued and it's part of our footballing heritage. But yeah, seasons like this, unique opportunity to make the playoffs. I really don't give a fuck about the FA Cup this year. So hopefully we can see a few players rested. All right, Nick, here's to a bright 2026. Come on, you Lions.
I was saying the same thing to a few of the guys on the train going back to Waterloo yesterday, dear listeners. I mean, the Burnley game, I think we'll have to regard as a training workout for second stringers, kids, and maybe one or two rock. I mean, I imagine that Jake Cooper will start at Burnley, just because that he always does. But apart from that, I can't see many of those first choice players really taking the field there. I think we just got to write that one off as a workout kind of game, and a chance really for rest and recovery for the bulk of the squad who have performed semi-miracles recently. I mean, Lawrence Binney's covered a few of the big names there. Caleb Taylor's an interesting choice. I do think he's an improving player. I do think he could be our next big thing. Tristan Kramer clearly must be attracting attention, mustn't he, listeners? I think Steve Gallen in his interview kind of hinted that we've had, teams from home and abroad coming to the Den. I wonder what the ones from abroad make of the cuisine at the at the Alderton Road shopping parade. But yeah, they're coming to the Den and they're clearly looking at our crown jewels. That must be Tristan Kramer. I think this is the model in action. This is exactly how it should function. It's doing very well because we've brought interest on from, I think it was Exeter City. I think it was their player of the season. And as Lawrence has said, he's the new Lucas Neal. I like that comparison. That is a really good comparison. Consistently good. Premier League consistently good. So whether it's with us or who knows where else, whether it's Premier or the bigger clubs abroad, we'll see. I do think that we will probably have to expect to sell one to gain more, because that's the model too. That's how Brentford did it, and that's how we're going to try and do it. So anyway, we'll wait to see on that score whether January or the summertime brings in these kinds of moves. Who knows? Caleb Taylor, as I said, I think he could be our next big one. So keep an eye on him, listeners, if you're not already. Yeah, that Macaulay Langstaff lob onto the roof, and I thought that was his moment. And it was a beautiful move. When you watch it, they've only got the highlights, the 2-minute highlights, so you don't get an awful lot of. The extended ones are better if you subscribe to Millwall TV, listeners. But we've only got the 2-minute, the Sky TV kind of clipped. So it just really is the main points of action in the game. But the way that Macaulay Langstaff is kind of moving backwards away from the goal, but manages to twist and turn and get a shot onto the roof. And I thought it was going inside the stadium. There was a moment where I thought we got a goal, and that shows real skill and technique. He's got the instinct. It's easy to knock a player. I'm not going to knock him, but I think he's got something. I think he's got a role to play in this story of this season, and he could well be one of those minor characters that comes good as we get down to the final chapters of the storyline. So big up to Macaulay Langstaff, and as Lawrence said, proud of the team yesterday, and credit to Alex Neil for the way we set up. I'm going to play two together now. We're going to listen to Glyn Horner and Bobby T.
Happy New Year, one and all. Glyn here. So really enjoyed that game today. Like I said before, I think what we're seeing is this group of players really digging deep, and Alex Neil working on systems which work to our strengths. Basically, we know that we're not playing the most expansive form of football, but when we're playing with a midfield of Alfie Dougherty and Ryan Leonard, we can't expect that. What we've got to expect is pragmatism, solidity, professionalism, and that's what we're getting, and good on them. I think those boys have really stepped up to the plate at a time when we really need them, so really delighted to see how that is playing out. Max Crocombe had a very good game today. It was under pressure, I think, at various points today, and had some really big chances and choices to make, and made the right one. So again, I think anyone who's knocking Max Crocombe for that one bad game, you need to give your head a wobble, really. I mean, he's a very good keeper at this level. It hasn't let us down. I'm going to focus really today just on Macaulay Langstaff. I mean, my word, what a turnaround. He has gone from someone who looked completely out of his depth to someone who looks like a right nuisance. You know, he was very unlucky. I mean, that volley that he put in today was just over the bar, and had it gone in, I think we'd be talking right now about that was a proper 100% Millwall strikers performance, all-round game plan. Like he did everything you'd expect of a striker. He harried, he chased, he tackled, and the only thing was missing was a goal. But like, you know, chances were few and far between, and he came close to getting them. He actually created that opportunity for Ballo, which I think we have to credit the goalkeeper for making a great save rather than Ballo not putting it in the back of the net. I think Ballo did everything that he could have done. But I think, you know, you go back to Macaulay Langstaff, that he dispossessed the Southampton player to create that opportunity and put an excellent pass in for the cross from Femi Aziz. So Macaulay Langstaff, well done. You keep on playing like this. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him starting as a lone front man. I also think Ivanovic had a very quiet game in the last game, and it was only when Langstaff came on and they played as a two that we started to see Ivanovic, number one, winning headers, but number two, getting them to his strike partner, and that's when we started to look more dangerous. So congratulations, great effort. We've got to January, one more game. I think there's a break then, isn't there, for FA Cup? Honestly could not care about that. So hopefully that gives us time to bring a couple of bodies in and get a few players back off the treatment table. Come on, you Lions, 2026 is looking pretty good to me.
Nika, Bobby T, live. Just finished what hours, mate. I don't know if you were like, happy New Year, my old Millwall fellows. Look, if you ask me, take a point at the Dell, St Mary's, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if you went, just seeing the highlights now. And we edged it. We could have lost it at the last minute. Header, you know, just past the post. No Mahalo today. So he's given a rest now. Now, Langstaff, you got up in my book. You played well, great shot, good volley. Now, they're saying online, Ballo, sitter, 80th minute. No, it wasn't a sitter. Ballo done everything great save from the keeper. He pulled out a worldie there, didn't he? Look, I'll take a point on the road. We're still out of the playoffs. Look, it's going to be in, out, all this kind of stuff. Look, it was just, yeah, look, all I know is we're there and abouts. You know, we're not a complete team, if you ask me, injuries and all that. So, look, I take a point on the road, got to beat the old Swans. I'm working as well, so I can't go to that. But listen, up the wall, Happy New Year, great point on the road. Could have won it with Ballo. Aziz, stay healthy and fit. Bye for now, Bobby T. Great point on the road. Achtung, Millwall.
Huge thank you to Bobby, one of our great characters on the show. Bobby T, big shout out to you, Bob. Happy New Year to you too, mate, and to everyone listening, of course, dear listeners. Just going back to Glyn Horner's point about Alex Neil and his you know, you do read opposing fans. I think, you know, the new kind of Ajax that is Bristol City and Ipswich were saying how they couldn't watch that every week. Well, the reason that we're working systems that are playing to our strengths, as Glyn so eloquently put it, is that we've got an injury list as long as your arm. Hopefully, we're going to see one or two coming back. There was an article on the News at Den that Casper De Norm may be in and around the squad for the Watford game. That would be very, very welcome, won't it, listeners? But yeah, we're having to work to systems that suit what we've got available. There's no, you know, there's no point in us trying to play the new, you know, Brazil style when you don't have Brazil players. It's professionalism, as Glyn really well put it, and I agree 100% with that. Crocombe, he picks out Crocombe, and I do want to reinforce that he'd made a couple of good saves yesterday. There wasn't much. They had a lot of possession, Southampton. They didn't really produce much of the, decisive kind of cutting edge, as the cliche has it. But when he was called upon, he was there, and he had a bit of a wobble. Was it Blackburn? He had a wobble. Listeners, I'm starting to lose track of game by game. But he's a good goalkeeper, and he's certainly doing a good job for us at the moment. The Ivanovic situation's odd one. He wasn't even in the squad, wasn't on the bench. The official line is he's had a knock. Don't know. That's passed me by. He must be shattered. I think he's been really improving a lot. The next level in his game is obviously start getting goals, but he's certainly improving as a target man, and he works best, as Glyn said, with a partner in crime. And I think Langstaff makes a really nice foil for Langstaff, possibly even for Coburn, when we've got him back. The old traditional big man, little man, the Morrison and Lee Gregory style two man front line. We shall see. Now then, we're going to take a very short advertising break, dear listeners. I'm going to run a few messages together. This will be Hassan, Mike George, Rob Woodford, and then Martin Colwell.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hello, Nick. Happy New Year to you and your family. I hope you had a good evening and a safe trip to and from St Mary's today. Another point on the board, another point on the road, and a clean sheet as well. I think I'll take the positives from that. As for the game itself, I think we could have won it, and we could have lost it as well. It was almost like the Tiana Ballo show. He had, I think, all in all, he had 3 great chances. 2 could have done better with it, but the one in the second half where the goalkeeper got across and saved it, it was a magnificent save. I mean, he could have done better, but he's very quick to react to that. And on another day that goes, if anything, maybe he hit it too sweetly. If it shins off his foot or his leg, it might evade the goalkeeper. But the fact that he hit it so well, it just happened to be right in the keeper's path. On another day that goes in. So yeah, but it was good though. I mean, the fact that he's getting in those positions, he had a better second half. He was quiet in the first, I thought. Second half, Bello got a lot more better. It was a lot more intense. Linked up well with Aziz. Aziz took a while to get in to the game, but it was good to see him back on the field, and looks like got through the game unscathed. The starting lineup was a little bit surprising. No, Mahilo apparently he's picked up a slight knock, which hopefully won't keep him out for too long. Which might have done him a favour. He needs a break. He's been run ragged for pretty much all the season. Langstaff came in. He done well. He huffed and puffed. I think it was a good defensive display from us. If I had to give a man of the match to anyone, I think I'd give it to Caleb Taylor, probably for the save at the end as well. I mean, that was a clear goal. Finn Azaz, he found the space as he always does against most people, and Taylor got those long legs of his. Otherwise, that was a dead cert goal. And so they had their chances as well. Mainly towards in stoppage time. It was the only time they cut us through. Apart from that, we were pretty solid. But do you know what? The way this championship's going at the moment, just don't lose. I think even if you're not winning games, if you can keep clean sheets and get a draw here and there, as and when you can, you stay in the top half. I mean, as it is now, we're 7th, and you look at Watford now. Look at Ipswich; they're now 2nd. You know, it doesn't take much at all to get into that playoff position. So we can easily slip away, but at the same time, if we can just stay unbeaten, get wins at home, pick up draws away from home, it will just keep us in and around it. I don't think this is the season where you need to be in the top 6 throughout the entirety of it. If we're flirting around 6th, 7th, trying to improve our goal difference, that should be enough for us to get in the top 6 coming into the season. But yeah, not much to say really apart from that. I was worried that we would be knackered after the Bristol City game, but I think the sort of play that Southampton had today, it was a very slow paced game. There was no cut and thrust. It wasn't like the Ipswich game where we were chasing shadows, or Bristol City where it was really rough and tumble, and they were stretching us. It was a very slow paced game, and I think one, that it probably suited us, and 2, it probably gave the players a little bit of a break. You know, we still, done what we did and got behind the ball, but it didn't have that same bite as the Bristol City game. So let's just hope there's enough in the tank to go again on Sunday. And again, Swansea, they're on the roll now. I think they've won their last 2 or 3, and they've certainly turned their fortunes around. So I'm hopeful. I don't know if we get any signings for the door in time for Sunday. I very much doubt it. I don't know if we get any more players back by Sunday. But again, we need to go again. I think we need to try and win on Sunday. We need to try and dig deep and get a result, by hook or crook, just to make up the points a little bit, because we last 3 games, the fact that we were unbeaten and we've picked up 5 points is good. But if we can finish off this very difficult run with a win, then we can go to that Burnley game in the FA Cup and just relax, let the kids have a run out, and then go again against whoever's after Burnley. But other than that, Nick, hope you're well. All the best. Over and out.
And so the mighty Lions travelled down to St Mary's, the home of Southampton, late of the Premier League. However, judging by the lack of ambition by Southampton, it is little wonder that the home supporters didn't create much of an atmosphere. In fact, you'd find more atmosphere in your average astronaut's underpants than you would at St Mary's. Thank God for the brave 2,000 plus Millwall fans that went down there, and that's all you could hear all afternoon. Millwall went and pressed and harried and stifled anything the home side had tried. A proper Millwall performance, and were it not for one world-class save by their keeper, young Ballow might have scored. A few minutes later, an acrobatic effort by Macaulay Langstaff only just sailed over the bar. Oh, what might have been. Callum Taylor was my pick of a very, very good bunch. He seems to get better with every game. And with that, dear listeners, I would just like to wish you all Millwall fans, a very happy New Year.
Well, Nick, that was a really good away performance, wasn't it? High energy, closing down the space, winning tackles, winning second balls. But I did think, at the time, I thought it would be difficult to keep this up during the second half, but and even with rotating the subs. But we were magnificent, and I think Alex Neil got the shape bang on, going 3 at the back and matching them up. My only worry was that when young Zach was asked to get forward more, it did sometimes put our central defenders under pressure when we turned the ball over. But everyone mucked in for a really spirited team performance. Alfie Doughty and Ryan Leonard both got through a lot of work in unfamiliar positions. And Caleb Taylor was my man of the match today, and he's improving with every game for me. A shrewd acquisition. I could never understand why he was dropped 3 games ago. Anyway, that's behind us now. A brilliant performance, an outstanding result. We did a job on Saints and they couldn't get their game going. We also played so well in transition on the break that we could have nicked all 3 points with better finishing. But it was another Millwall-type performance, another clean sheet, and another tough game coming up next. It's such a competitive league that you have to go a long way down the table to find a team that hasn't been in the top 6 this season. And those top 6 teams will be constantly changing every week. And we just have to try and hang on in there while more of our squad get, fully fit. Let's hope for another huge attendance on Sunday. Our average attendance this season so far has been 16,731. Now, that's the highest attendance for 73 years. Yes, you have to go all the way back to 1952-53 season, when we averaged just over 19,000 to top that. Swansea is a massive game, especially when you consider the following 2 league games after that will be away at Watford, another 6-pointer, and Coventry, who just happened to have scored twice as many goals as us this season. So 3 points against the Swans will be really handy. Come on, you all. And a happy new year, Nick, to you and all of your dear listeners.
Thank you, big thank you to Hassan, Mike George and Rob Woodford there, 2 very great messages. The Turno Battle, he's a mercurial player, Hassan, isn't he? I like that word, mercurial. He will give you brilliance and balls ups often. in equal measure, sometimes within the same few seconds. But as with all creatives, in whatever walk of life you're involved in, listeners, it's as frustrating as it can be for the more mundane. It's the creatives that drive the world forward. And Turno Baloo is a creative. It was a brilliant chance. I didn't actually really take full account of the first half chance. Others were saying he should have done better. Maybe it was my angle. It didn't seem to be that much worthy of comment at the time. My angle maybe let me down. I don't know. I don't presume to be any kind of encyclopedia of Millwall. Just the impressions that I have within the stadium. So, some will like it, some will agree, some will disagree. But certainly that late chance, the move down the left, the ball in from Femi Aziz, crucial player, as we've said a few times across the show. And it was caught actually quite nicely by Turno Ballo in front of goal. And the goalkeeper pulled off a world-class block. Luck, world-class skill, fortune, they all come together in the goalkeeper, don't they? He's both the villain of the piece when it goes wrong and the hero of the hour when it goes right. And often the spin of the coin, the Greek gods up in Olympus playing their chess moves in the clouds determine whether you're a hero or a villain in this life. But that was a great save, in all fairness, late in the game. And then the moment we've mentioned a few times already, the take and turn by Macaulay Langstaff, that had it been a couple of inches lower, would have been hero time. As it was, it went onto the roof of the net. And we're just talking about Macaulay's, his industry and his kind of work rate rather than his excellence. That's the way that the football cookie crumbles. Caleb Taylor, mentioned by Hassan and by Rob. Others have mentioned him in the show, boys. And I do like the look of him. I think he could be our next big thing, as I think I've said already. That's a fascinating fact that Rob finished with, the Millwall type performance, but also the 16,731 average home attendance, our highest for 73 years, going back to 1952-53. I was but a twinkle in my mum and dad's eye back then. I think I might have been a twinkle in my dad's eye somewhere in the Sinai Desert when he was in the army. That's a magnificent figure. And it's all we can do as Millwall fans to repay the Berylson family for the faith and the finance and just the sheer persistence in staying with us. So they do it so well, is to show up in numbers, and that figure there is as much as can be done. Obviously, we can spend money in the bars, which all have been refurbished and looking really nice at the ground now. But fundamentally, it's about bums on seats, getting people into the den, and backing this team that others have said across this show and previous editions are giving so much. They're giving 100% commitment, and that was evident down there at St Mary's yesterday. And as Mike, I said, I love the line about the atmosphere, more atmosphere at St Mary's. There was more atmosphere than astronauts' underpants. I'm going to nick that one, Mike. I like that one. There we are. Tough match on Sunday. I shall be there, of course, at the Den on Sunday. Swansea City at home. And as Hassan said, it'll be a tough match. And we need a win, listeners. We've got to hang on in there. We've got to keep on keeping on. I'm going to close today's edition with our final voicemail, which is from Martin Colwell. Big thank you to everyone for their contributions on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you to you too, dear listeners, for tuning into Achtung Millwall. Hope you enjoy it. And here's to momentous, I hope, 2026. Happy New Year, dear listeners. Take it away, Martin.
Hi, Nick. Happy New Year to you and the listeners. Yesterday's game versus Southampton didn't go. Saw it on the TV. I thought for a 0-0, it was a good game. Bearing in mind the injuries we have and continue to have, and the formation that we had to play, I thought we took it to them and, had some good attacking moments without an end product. I think it was a cagey game, but at times an open game. And I think both sides lacked quality in front of goal, really. I think there was enough chances to score goals in that game, but neither side seemed to have it. I thought Turno Ballo was unlucky to not score, because the goalie made a great save and people criticised him for not burying it. But that cross from Femi Aziz was hit at pace, and when those one come across, anyone who knows plays is all you've really got to do is one, get contact on it, and two, get it on target. And I think that's all he could do there. And I think we have to give the goalie credit there. And I think the subs came on and did well as well. They stuck to the plan and the format, and Southampton could have won it with basically the last header of the match, but that thankfully went wide and we got away with that. And it's a good draw against a team with good players, although, as I've said before, there's no one special in this league, and this is a good year to go for a push for those playoffs. I think that the problem we've got, that we've alluded to before, is that we don't score goals, and I don't think that's going to be solved with Josh Coburn coming back, because one, he's not prolific, and two, he doesn't stay fit that long, you know. Femi Aziz is the bright spark, really, because he looks like he's going to create chances and put crosses in and put shots in. So, you know, he needs to be fit, obviously, and it was nice to see him back. But to make the push, there's two players needed. There's a goal scorer up front, and it doesn't matter. I don't like this 11 back from corners anyway, but we don't need someone like that. We need someone who can score goals at the level, and it's kind of a Michael Cheek at Bromley, but at the Championship level, you know, who doesn't do a great deal other than try to score goals. We also need a midfielder who can score as well, because, I mean, apart from Femi Aziz, you know, there's no one else really who looks like scoring a goal in that setup. Is in the squad, really. I don't think, you know, they're just not there even when they're fit, really. So they're the two players that we need. We don't need a goalie. The goalies will struggle on with the goalies we've got. They're okay. They're not great, but they're okay. And we don't need, you know, we don't really need a right back, because Ryan Leonard can play there. Cramer's playing well there with Taylor in the middle, and Danny Mack can always come in and do a defensive job, not an attacking job, but a defensive job. But yeah, we need those two players in, and they can be loans, because, you know, we need to push for those playoffs, and it doesn't matter whether they go back in the summer. They've got to push us into those playoffs. In terms of the team yesterday, yeah, I thought they did really well. I thought it was a good game for a 0-0. It wasn't a good game, but it was a good game for a 0-0. I thought that Alfie Doughty started to look good in that middle of the midfield position, and the use of, and Ryan Leonard did well enough, and Billy Mitchell came on at the end to do what Billy Mitchell does. But again, a lack of goals come on there, don't they? And there was a lot of effort in terms of the teams. I thought the defence generally played well, but gave up some decent chances to Southampton. And, you know, we do look like conceding goals, don't we, at the moment, you know? And I think it's Caleb Taylor's doing well, but I think it's partly Kramer coming out the middle and having to play right back. But I think as we stand now, it's best to stick with that, really, because, you know, the defence is doing okay and we need to win games. And on the left, I thought Zach Sturge was okay. I don't think Joe Bryan's got the energy to play all these games, but he is a better footballer than Zach Sturge, although Zach Sturge has got that pace. But he does look open sometimes, Zach Sturge. But I know Joe Bryan gets caught out as well. We rely too much on Femi Aziz, don't we? You know, he has to do it all, really. We need someone on the other side as well. And I think Idemo Mako is okay coming on for the last 15, 20 minutes, but I don't think he's the answer for a starting berth. So we need someone on the other wing. And Tierno Bello does a lot of running, does a lot of effort, but lacks a bit of winger quality, you know, that we need to make that push, really. But, I mean, you know, I know it's difficult for us to spend money without selling anyone, but I don't see who we're going to sell for big money at the moment, because I don't see you know, the only player a team would gamble on in the Premier League, and it would be a bottom half Premier League team, would be Tristan Kramer, probably. They're not going to want Ivanovic, Kasper De Norre. There's a lot of players like Kasper De Norre in the Premier League, so they don't need him. And Ivanovic, as I said, Ivanovic can't go. And I think Femi Aziz would be okay in a team like Ipswich or a Middlesbrough, at the top of the Championship, but I don't see him getting into a Premier League team. So I find it difficult to see the better players leaving. I know we might have to have a clear out of other players to free up a bit of salary, but I don't see any of them going. So they should all be there, and it's just a question of bringing in those 2 or 3 more to make the final push. But that tests the ambition of the owners, doesn't it, really? Because they may not get a better chance of this for a few years, because, as I say, this division is not strong. But yeah, tough game coming up against Swansea. They're on a winning streak. I think they've won 4 of 6, haven't they? And they've struggled to score goals, but they seem to be doing better now with the new coach, who seems to be getting it out of them at the moment. So that'll be a tough game on Sunday, won't it? And you don't know who's going to be fit, do you? And there's no one coming back. There's no one coming back until, I think, so, I don't think we'll see anyone new. Anyone who's injured back until after the Burnley game. There was the Watford game after that, isn't it? I don't think we see anyone back till then. So we've got to go with what we've got. But I think we're just going to have to try and battle out and battle a win. And a 1-0 is always good enough, isn't it? Anyway, Happy New Year again to all, and come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
Who do you want to watch?